Hello, everyone. This is Sean Costello. We're continuing on with our Biblical Worldview Lesson Series. Part 2 of the book is entitled Unmasking the Pretender Explanation for All That Is, with that being Darwinian evolution. Let's remind ourselves of reality's 4 pillars. Those 4 pillars define reality and demand an explanation. They are creation, the material universe, the Jewish people, Jesus Christ, who lived 2,000 years ago, and Israel back in the land. As of May 14th, 1948, Israel once again became a nation on the face of the earth. There are 2 candidate explanations for everything that we see right in front of us. There's the Bible and Darwinian evolution. The Bible begins with, in the beginning, God. Darwinian evolution replaces God with a pregnant nothing. The Bible perfectly explains reality's 4 pillars. In the beginning, God, the creation hymn, Genesis 1:1 to 2:3. Genesis 12, God calls Abraham, and from Abraham begets the Jewish people, whose purpose is to beget the world's Messiah. Jesus shows up at the appointed time. The 4 Gospels talk about his life, present his life and ministry to us. The Bible tells us that Israel, in the times of the end, should once again become a nation on the face of the earth. May 14th, 1948, that is indeed what happened in response to both Ezekiel and Jesus in the Olivet Discourse. Jesus said, "When you see the fig leaf blossom, know that summer is near." Between the 2 candidate explanations, the Bible perfectly tells the story of reality. Chapter 2 of the book is entitled The Emperor Has No Clothes. As we go through this information, we're going to find that the Darwinian emperor is naked as a jaybird. He truly has no clothes. Hollywood's recipe for spiritual formation, for coercive spiritual formation, is well understood. With the sitcom, The Big Bang Theory, we tune in weekly because we've grown to love the witty repartee and the all-too-human cast of characters. Pictured above, you see 2 boys, 1 adult, a beautiful and scantily clad blonde actress, and Peter Pan, the boy who would never grow up. But when we do so, when we regularly expose ourselves to that content, we internalize the Big Bang Theory intro. In that 22-second introduction, we internalize a lie from the pit of hell. And what is that lie? The material universe began from nothing. When my daughter was young, I read to her The Emperor Has No Clothes, Hans Christian Andersen. That is a short story that has, for me, perfectly describes what I've come to term the Darwinian delusion. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there lived a vain and prideful emperor who loved to look at himself in the mirror. He bullied his kingdom into compliance, and his very unhappy people feigned support for his rule, fearing for their stomachs and lives. The emperor hired well-known tailors to stitch clothes special enough for his vain and prideful self. After threatening the tailors with death, the emperor gave the tailors the golden threads, assuring the esteem of their clothing industry colleagues. Afterwards, the tailors hatched a plot to steal the golden threads and deceive everyone. Their weave would be so special that only the wisest people could actually see it. Time passed. Impatient, the emperor sent ministers and courtiers to check on things. Fearing for their lives and desiring to appear wise themselves, they believed the deception and gave a good progress report. Finally, delivery time arrived. The emperor, not wanting to be seen as unwise before his foe kingdom, readily bought into the tailor's deception, so much so that he proudly wore the new clothes in his own birthday parade. All the emperor's court and all the people, fearing for their lives and desiring to be wise, praised the emperor as he paraded naked in his new clothes. But then one small voice pierced the crowd. An innocent child laughed. The emperor has no clothes. But it was too late. The tailors had already gotten away with the golden threads. The characters in that somewhat creative rewrite all play a role in the Darwinian delusion. The emperor, clearly Satan and his unholy ilk. The tailors are the naturalistic academic elite who pervade this wicked web of deceit. The ministers and courtiers, the kings of the earth, who are a character in the biblical narrative that we're going to learn about in a later chapter. The people are collective humanity. That small innocent child is supposed to be us. We are God's redeemed family, his sons and daughters. We're supposed to be innocent of the delusion enough to recognize that the emperor has no clothes. Now, the golden threads, that which is desired to be absconded with, are our eternal souls. Again, the Bible has teeth. Our eternal souls are at play with every breath that we take. Let us remember that in the times of the end, Paul tells us, the Apostle Paul tells us, that God is going to send a strong delusion. Peter tells us, 2 Peter 3, that scoffers will arise in the times of the end, doubting Jesus' second coming. They will deliberately overlook both creation and the flood. Darwinian evolution disguises creation and the flood with gradualism over millions and millions of years. Embedded in Paul's discourse is the solution. We must find the truth, believe the truth, and cling to the truth. Believing the truth and clinging to the truth means far more than intellectually internalizing, intellectually recognizing the falsehood. It means conducting every moment of the rest of our lives in accordance with the deception towards God's throne room. That's what it means. That's what it's always meant. Many years ago at my former home church in Southern California, I met and spoke with Greg Kokel, who is Stand to Reason's president. During his presentation that day, he presented the first three layers of the evolution pyramid. Evolution, simply put, he said that day, means change over time, or it could mean natural selection, or it could mean all living things from the first living thing, the speciation of everything from the first living organism. I've appended in the evolution pyramid the bottom two layers, abiogenesis and the Big Bang. Now, evolution, meaning change over time, and microevolution, meaning natural selection or the adaptation in a given species over time, are the same as observed reality. We see that happening in front of us every day and all day. But macroevolution, abiogenesis, and the Big Bang have been invented from whole cloth to replace God with a pregnant nothing. At the top of the pyramid, we see change and adaptation. Let's listen to Brett Kunkel at STR. As we observe our world, we see things changing day by day, month by month, year by year. An oak changes as it goes from a sapling to a tree. A baby changes as she grows into a toddler. Your body changes, seasons change, clothing styles changes, everything changes. Change happens in God's created reality. Now, Darwin's natural selection is how a given species changes over time. And now we're at the second layer in the evolution pyramid. According to Brett Kunkle at STR, once again, this is Darwin's special theory of evolution, or what we might call microevolution. On this view, there is outside pressure, like, say, climate change or a lack of food, which forces an organism, an existing species, to adapt. So over time, the organism adapts to its environment in order to survive. Dr. Philip Johnson in Darwin on Trial says the question is not whether natural selection occurs. Of course it does. It has the effect of maintaining the genetic fitness of a population. So in the first two layers of the evolutionary pyramid, change and adaptation are constant in God's created reality. The slides following, we're going to do a deep dive into macroevolution, abiogenesis, and the Big Bang. What we're going to see when we look under the hood of those arguments is that the arguments comprise of inadmissible speculation and fall extremely short of being an acceptable substitute for in the beginning God. In short, what we find in the next presentation is that dog just don't hunt. If you're interested in looking under the hood of those arguments, please persevere through the second part of chapter 2's lesson. In Christ Jesus, thank you so much for your time. God bless us all in these last days.